The truth of the matter is that I can pretty much justify anything that I want to do with just a little bit of rationale. But that doesn't make it right. And the truth of the matter is that I'm the type of person that I have to have walls about my life. In other words, to say that there's just some things that I've just determined that I'm just not going to do. And then there's some things that I've said I'm not going to allow that influence to come into my life because I know how easily I can be swayed. Now, this may shock some of my radio audience to find out that Pastor King has feet of clay, but I do. And I realize that I am vulnerable to the attacks of the enemy. And I know that there are areas in my life that the devil would very much like to bring destruction if he can take that opportunity to enter into my heart through areas that I'm vulnerable. And so I've lived long enough to know that I have certain areas of my life that I have to really guard against. So, as a result of that, as I said, I've created walls. And I said, these things are things that I'm not going to allow myself to get involved in because I know that it can trip me up. Well, this reminds me of a story that Jesus told us. And it was about a man who just had a phenomenal year. He was a farmer. And crops beyond his wildest imagination. He didn't know what to do. So he thought about it a little bit. He says, man, I've got all this stuff. It's enough to provide for me for the rest of my days. I'll never have to work again. He said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. He said, I've got all these little barns that at one time I thought they were big, but now they're small because of the comparison of the great blessings that I have. So he said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tear down all those little barns, and I'm going to build me big barns, and I'm going to stow all this stuff up, and then I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to eat and drink and be merry and live out my days in luxury. There's only one problem with the man's plan. God showed up, and God came to him that night and said, sir, you are a fool. That's pretty strong language. But he said, you are a fool. And tonight, you're going to die. Your soul is going to be required of you. And I'm interjecting here because he doesn't say this, but I'm pretty sure of the direction we're going here. You're going to go to hell tonight. That's a pretty stern story, is it not? And this is what God said to him. He says, you're a fool because you are not rich toward God. You put all your faith in all those things that you have acquired. But the problem is that when you are gone, and you're no longer able to breathe, and you're dead, all of that just goes away. And that's why Jesus said, you are a fool. This is Pastor Jack King with the gospel on the radio broadcast.